Israeli airstrikes have killed more than 100 Palestinians across Gaza since dawn today, with dozens still missing under the rubble of destroyed buildings. Hamas has condemned what it called a barbaric escalation and urged the international community to hold Israel accountable. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu repeated his pledge to continue the escalation with the stated aim of destroying Hamas. According to Gaza's Ministry of Health, Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 53,119 Palestinians and wounded 119,919 others. The government media office has updated the death toll to more than 61,700, stating that thousands presumed dead remain under the rubble. On the Israeli side, an estimated 1,139 people were killed during the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, and over 200 were taken captive. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Authority's Education Ministry has strongly condemned Israeli attacks on schools in the occupied West Bank. According to the Wafa news agency, Israeli forces stormed Al-Munjid Private School in Brooklyn and Martyr Mazin Abu al-Wafa Basic School in Kafr Adik. They also turned the As-Salam Kindergarten into a military outpost, and bulldozers were reportedly operating next to the Brooklyn Girls Primary School. The ministry called these actions part of a systematic colonial aggression. In ceasefire talks held in Qatar, Israeli outlet Haaretz reports no progress has been made. Sources say Hamas has not compromised on the U.S. proposed plan, while Israeli positions remain unchanged. One source noted that the Americans have lost interest, with Trump on his way home. Wrapping up his Middle East trip, President Trump expressed support for aid to Palestinians, stating that people in Gaza are starving and that a lot of good things are expected in the coming month.
Well, we're going to see what happens. I think a lot of good things are going to happen over the next month, and we're going to see. And we have to help also out the Palestinians. You know, a lot of people are starving on Gaza, so we have to look at both sides.
Pakistan has warned India to adhere to the recently agreed-upon ceasefire, with a clear message: if hostilities resume, Pakistan will respond. This caution came from Foreign Office spokesperson Shafkat Ali Khan during his weekly press briefing. The ceasefire follows a dangerous escalation that began when India blamed Pakistan for the Pahalgam attack. On the night of May 6th and 7th, India launched airstrikes on Pakistan, resulting in civilian casualties. What followed was a week-long missile exchange between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. It was only after American intervention that the two sides stepped back from the brink. The spokesperson called the ceasefire a positive development and appreciated the role of friendly countries in facilitating it. He stressed that India's narrative portraying Pakistan as acting out of frustration was baseless. Since May 10, military operations chiefs from both countries have been in periodic contact and have agreed on a structured mechanism for phased de-escalation. Khan added that Pakistan returned an Indian Border Security Force constable on Wednesday as a goodwill gesture, in exchange for a Pakistan Rangers sepoy. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister 𝐒𝐿 Dar met UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy, thanking the UK for its role in the de-escalation. Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi also met with the US acting ambassador and thanked President Trump for helping avert a catastrophic conflict. Across Pakistan, citizens observed 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬 to honor the armed forces and people for victory in Operation Banyana Marsoos. Ceremonies were held nationwide, with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and other top officials in attendance. PM Shehbaz praised the military for a decisive response to India's attacks and paid tribute to the martyred. Meanwhile, India is reportedly planning to increase water extraction from the Indus River system, following its suspension of participation in the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty after the April attack. These plans include expanding the Ranbir Canal, which could significantly reduce water flow to Pakistani farmlands. According to Reuters, for the first time in over 3 years, Russian and Ukrainian negotiators met face-to-face in Istanbul on Friday, under pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump to end Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. The meeting took place at the Dolmabahce Palace, where Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan called for an urgent ceasefire and urged both sides to seize the opportunity for peace. The two delegations sat across from each other, Ukrainians in military fatigues, Russians in suits. Fidan emphasized the importance of dialogue leading to a meeting between the two countries' leaders, warning that the path chosen would either bring peace or more destruction. The last in-person talks occurred in March 2022, just weeks after Russia invaded Ukraine. While expectations were low, hopes were further dampened after Trump said progress would only come through direct talks with Putin. Ukraine laid out its conditions for peace: a 30-day ceasefire, the return of abducted children, and a full prisoner exchange. Russia expressed willingness to discuss a ceasefire but raised concerns Ukraine might use the pause to regroup and rearm. President Putin proposed the talks but declined to attend, sending mid-level officials instead. Ukrainian President Zelenskiy matched this by appointing a similarly ranked team. Meanwhile, Russia claimed further military gains in eastern Ukraine as Ukrainian media reported explosions in Dnipro. With Russia controlling nearly a fifth of Ukraine, Moscow continues to demand Kyiv give up NATO ambitions and territory, demands Ukraine rejects a surrender.